Well, good morning, everyone, wherever you are, and welcome to Being Your Own CEO. This is our weekly success circle for solopreneurs. We get together because we enjoy each other's company, and we've been getting together, a lot of us, for a couple of or a few years now. So, but we all enjoy exchanging ideas and information and doing a bit of experimentation as well. We give and receive support from one another, and we really think it's important for us to support one another and really work together as we go through. So my name is Laurel Ann. I've been in business for a long time, helping people where they want to go. And our viewers will want to know who is here. And it's really fun this morning because we have a couple of returning people that have been among the missing for a while. And I see that Alana has made it just in time, Alana. So let's begin by doing some introductions, and I will just start with on my immediate right. So Roland, how would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I would like to join you and myself being shown on the video, so we might want to unwhite box build, and maybe I'm the only one that's got him white box.
You do. I unwhite boxed him quite some time ago.
Okay, my bad. I'm Roland from MinMax Media, messing up this morning, and I have my new company, MinMax Media. We stress the information that pertains to the internet marketing tripod and the minimum you need for the maximum impact.
Right on. Welcome here, and thank you for being the sound man.
You're welcome. In Southern California, it's sunny. It is indeed sunny today, so it's nice and bright in here.
Aha, right on. Just for the benefit of those who haven't been around for a little while, Roland does the sound and Bill does the visuals for that intro. We thought, we all played with this and thought it would be fun to have an intro. And if any of you would like to supply your picture so that your face will show up in one of those circles, we'd be happy to do it. So Paul, I think you're next to Roland in my my film strip.
Good morning, all. I'm Paul, company's TTG International Management, and we simply try to turn ideas into profitable action. I'm in Lowlands Hood on the left coast of Canada on a fabulous island in the Pacific called Vancouver Island in the city of Victoria.
Right on. Thank you for coming back. We haven't seen you for a while. I wondered, Paul, did you participate in that YES summit that happened up island?
No, I didn't. It was month end, which is not a good day for me.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes, and year end as well. Well, welcome back, Paul. So Nathan,
Thank you.
how about you?
Yeah, my name is Nathan. Yeah, I'm here. My name is Nathan Siegel. I'm living in Ensenada, Baja, California. So I'm under California, where Roland is. And as he was saying, it's sunny in this part of the world. Rather nice down here at the moment. My thing right now is I've been working with some coaches out of Australia. And what we're doing is we help people recover from the effects of PTSD, otherwise known as post-traumatic stress disorder. And just working on bringing that, what we do, to the world and helping as many people as we can.
Right on.
Yep.
So welcome here.
Thank you.
And Nancy, welcome back. Gosh, we haven't seen you in this situation for a while.
I know. Well, it's nice to be back. And, you know, I took a little break. I got really busy with clients, and then I redid my entire niche. So I'm very happy to be here today to share with you that I help individuals eliminate their chronic pain naturally so they can experience the freedom to be in control of their health again.
Right on. And your background looks very different from the one that used to be there when you were participating before.
That's right. I've moved since then. So yeah, lots has happened, and I'm really happy to be back. Thank you, Lolan, for inviting me. Appreciate it. It's really nice to meet all of you this morning as well.
And Nancy is also in Victoria.
Yes, I am. I'm in Victoria.
Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you.
And Jay, how about you?
Oh, hi. My name is Jay. My company is Magi Studios, and we help people get started in the world of online marketing through coach consulting and training, hailing from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada.
Right on with the on-air sign. I can just hardly wait to see how the wealthy affiliate folks are going to react to that. It's so cool. So just to share with those who are watching the recording, Jay shared a sign that he found locally that we all thought was, oh, here he's going to show it, an on-air sign. Oh, it's so cool. You never know what you're going to find. So welcome here, Jay, as usual. Nice to have you here. And Fred, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much, Loella. Can you hear me? Because I'm getting a bit of feedback.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm Fred Jones. The creator of Our Future Leaders. I'm setting up an online group of coaching for youth. Working with youth for about 12 years now through Toastmasters, but I want to expand it online using Google Hangouts. That's one of the reasons I find this attractive. And it really helps them with their communication and leadership skills, and boost their self-confidence, which assists them as they enter adulthood. So this is something that I'm very excited about. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm in Victoria as well.
Right on. So nice to have you here. And I might mention something that I stumbled on that might be of interest to you. There's the Google Education or Google School. It's being rolled out for people who have Google accounts. I watched a video last night, I think, showing how simple it is to get in and use and so forth. However, I discovered, even though I have a G Suite account, I don't have access to it yet. So we're guessing that it's being rolled out in the States first, and maybe we won't get it here for a while. So, but it looked like it would be very useful for working with young people, well, and anyone else actually that you want to do sort of maybe a lesson plan or training, whatever. It looked like it was going to be very simple to use.
Okay, I'll look into it. I've heard, actually, one of the young people said they have something in their school with Google, and it may be
Yes,
just restricted to school at the moment.
Yes, that would be it. Yeah.
It might be they're only offering it to educators at the moment, not somebody like me, but we'll find out. Thank you.
But no, that's what they've done up until now, but the announcement came out that it was going to be opened up to anybody with a Google account.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
But it hasn't it hasn't hit in my system yet, but but I'm looking forward to seeing when it arrives. So Bill, how about you?
Good morning, everyone. I'm coming to you this morning from Belize. I'm a Canadian expat. My website is billdoesbelize.com, and I provide unbiased information, or what I refer to as the unbelievable truth, to help people make an informed decision on making the move to Belize. And I'm happy to be here. I'm monitoring the comments today, and I just wanted to welcome Tim Longwell, who's on the outside, and he definitely likes Jay's sign. He says, I need one of those on-air signs for my office.
Right on. Welcome, Tim.
I'll sell it for $60.
Oh,
Plus shipping.
Yeah, right.
And for anyone who's interested, Tim has put the link to the Google Classroom or the Google Educate thing that you were talking about in the comment stream.
Oh, has he? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Classroom. Yes, I tried going in there, and you know what I got? Was an invitation to leave my email when they decide to open it up to anybody, to other businesses. So, but that's nice. Thank you, Tim, for putting that up there. Others may find it useful. So, and I just wanted to let everybody know and thank Bill for his part in the intro. He did show me how to make better use of the presentation part of Google Drive. And so I want to thank you publicly for that, Bill, because I'm working on a presentation for later this week. And I was sure thanking my lucky stars that you and I had that little session that we had together. So really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. That's what we do. We help each other out.
I know we do. It's just it's awesome.
And if you don't mind, I'm just going to remind everyone that I did put the link to the VCP comment stream in the internal chat. So if anybody has any comments, please put them in the VCP plugin.
We may need to explain a little bit what is meant by VCP for those who are just returning. VCP is video comment. What, Roland? VCP. Now all we know is VCP. What does it stand for?
Plus, I believe.
Okay. Video comments plus.
Okay.
Because it links the two, the video right there and the comment stream, but it does a lot of other things that are little accents around the building of a show, which really come in handy for branding and for messaging, and for most importantly, bringing the audience as part of the conversation, including them in what we're talking about, letting them contribute live.
Right on. Thank you for that. Yes, I was probably your first beta tester. So I'm really, and I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. And I find that I really enjoy sitting on the outside and being a person who's out there viewing and adding comments. I enjoy that aspect as well. It seems to be very nice both ways. So right on. So Alana, how are you this morning?
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay, yeah, I'm Alana, and I'm over in Ireland, an expat from the US, and I run a website called EmptyNesterBlog.com, and I'm basically helping people find ways to generate online income when their kids leave home and they're left with nothing to do with themselves.
Yes, right. So, and let's see. I guess it's just Lana and I and Jay at the moment who are members of the Wealthy Affiliates, an organization based here in Victoria that teaches people how to create a website and how to create an online business. So it's nice to that we all have those little connections. We have a number of people among the missing this morning. Susan said she was going to be in Montreal for some sort of a summit, and Heidi is busy doing some sort of a hangout in this time slot right now. And she mentioned that she is going to, she and Mark are going to Germany shortly. So she'll be among the missing for a little while. So, but I'm very happy for those of you who have made it, as well as Tim, who's on the outside there. Maybe sometime, Tim, you'll decide that you want to join us inside the green room. So that the topic this morning was tracking your funnels, and I sort of wondered if that were a good title, whether that would mean much to very many people, but it does mean something to all of us, because we have been discussing ways to funnel viewers back to our website and our hosted videos. And we had 2 sessions where Jay walked us through a really wonderful little mind map and explained all the pieces. I think there were 7 or 8 various ways and various places that we could do some posting, and with the idea of funneling people back to our website. So it seemed logical to be, as we think about that, we're out there posting and doing various things out there on the net and through our website and through our blogs and all of these things. It really does kind of make sense for us to be tracking so that we can see where visitors come from, and we can tell what we should do more of. So, thank you, Jay. I will white box that. This is the mind map that we talked about 3 weeks ago we started. And then last week we spoke about the various ways to be a little bit more efficient about things, and I think that's what's in the red box, although I can't quite read what's in the red box right now. So, but I'm going from memory that's probably some of the sites that we talked about.
Yeah. So it's Social Pilot, Promo Republic, and Ninja Outreach are the 3 tools that we talked about.
Okay.
So I'm just going to post the link so people can see it within the comment app on your site here. So
perfect. Yes, I have posted a link to that in other places on the website as well. So this morning it would make sense, and I seem to remember when we finished the whole funneling discussion, I think Alana, I think it was you who said, oh, well, now, so how do we track all of this? What do we do to figure it all out? So now I see there's a message that Bill is posting.
Yeah, I just wanted to put up a comment so people can see how it works and how it displays. It's from Tim Longwell, and he says, I guess I shouldn't mention that I can create classes there since Lowland Full saying can't. Hides under desk. So we won't mention that.
Oh, you mean the education site? Bummer. Yes. Rub it in. But thank you for posting the link, Tim. And nice for everyone to see that we are, one of the things that is really valuable about the VCP plugin, by the way, which in case you couldn't figure that out, Nancy, it was developed by Roland and his son, Kyle. And so that's one of the really nice features of the VCP plugin. If you're hosting a website hosting a Hangout on your website, then and people put comments in, there's a way to be able to share those comments that become part of the recording. So it's we're all very happy with it. It was developed when Google sort of got rid of the what was that, the
comment tracker app?
Yeah. So anyway.
Whoa, way out there.
Yeah. Yeah, there are lots of
good for you guys.
Lots of new developments happening in Google. That's for sure.
Like a whole new world in here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, not all of a sudden, in the last year.
Yes, it definitely is. However, I think we all still really enjoy using the Hangout on Air, and one of the major changes was that the Hangout on Air, you used to set it all up within Google Plus, and that got moved over to YouTube. So if you want to run a Hangout, it's got to be done and started up over on YouTube, which kind of really only makes sense.
Can I ask a little question?
Sure.
In terms of this sort of video meeting platform, how does this compare like to Zoom?
Well, from my understanding is that Zoom, you can have a number of people in the room. There is a difference, and I'm not sure if it's whether you can record or whether you can show comments or what it is. I've only tried it once.
I was just curious.
Does anybody else in the room use Zoom? Roland?
It's funny. I used it myself for a client, and personally, I didn't like it at all. I found it too glitchy, and I just kind of fumble my way through it. So, mind you, Zoom was also used for just teleconferences, so using it just for the telephone, not so much video as well. So, I guess that would be the one advantage. But I mean, it's if you're looking for a solution to do live videos where you can have a small audience, to engage with, like what we're doing now, and then have an external audience where people can kind of come in. Google Hangouts is probably a really good low-cost solution. Okay. Otherwise, you can also use something called YouTube Live, which is kind of what we're doing. Yeah, so because you can screen share and whatnot. So
okay.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to get you way off topic. I was just curious. So thanks.
That's not so way off topic, because basically this is the fundamental platform that we use to do all this outreach and the communication on the level of presenting a show. And the Hangouts on Air are probably still one of the best features in paid or free platforms. The other thing is they connect automatically and archive to YouTube, and there are benefits in linking YouTube and your website and your social media, locking it in with your Google profile, and then verifying it so that there's a strength that comes in that. Plus, just the fact that if you do use that platform, Google appreciates it and actually gives you a few more bits of kudos in search engine optimization response. So there are some things there. Zoom is actually a pretty nice program, and a lot of people are starting to try it out and use it. They're getting a lot more publicity than Hangouts, but I believe if people were to compare them, each platform having its own little glitches, they're going to discover that Hangouts, you could do it actually a little bit more than anybody else if you do the type of thing that we do, which is produce shows for the internet. If you're just going to have a conference call, Zoom is equitably very similar to Skype and so forth. But other than that, there are very few benefits. I haven't had any reason to switch.
Okay.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I've also used Zoom, but mostly just being invited into different conferences. And for me, it was okay, but it was not something I ever wanted to invest in. Actually, lately, what's been happening is I've been a part of a video mastermind group on Facebook. It's run by a fellow I know by the name of Joel Calm, who's been very, very heavily involved in live streaming and broadcasting. I've known him for many years, but the other technology out there, which I've been using personally with my Facebook group, is BeLive TV, which is really great for side-by-side interviews. And it broadcasts to Facebook Live, so you can broadcast it to a page or to a group. And so it's been really nice that way. And I've been using it the last number of days, that and Facebook Live. And it's just been rather interesting. Like I did something, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I had 261 views. And I'm going, you're kidding me.
Wow.
I mean, I just posted this the day before, and there's been all sorts of interaction and comments. So just something else to be aware of. BeLive is free. And if you start using it for a while, as I did, they send you an update, which gives you the ability to do side-by-side 3 or 2, like 1 above and below, and then main presenter on the left, something like that. So it's obviously not as feature-rich as Hangouts. It's just an option for what we're doing, and so far it seems to be pretty good.
Real quick question, Nathan.
Sure.
Is BeLive a sidecar to any other online subscription? Because I heard at one time you had to be a part of another platform and then it was free. But if you're not part of the platform, it is not free. Maybe that has changed.
It's not a part of anything else that I'm aware of, and it's completely free. It's in beta. Nobody's tried to charge me anything that I can remember. There may have been a fee involved with it, but I don't recall it. And they allow you to set it up. It's kind of interesting. It's reminiscent of Hangouts, or through YouTube Live. Like when you set it up, and it will give you a page or like a placeholder, and that's what it's been doing within our groups.
Uh-oh. I think Nathan just froze.
And he's in
Interesting.
California, it's not that cold.
I have some screenshots or share screen ready to go when we want to get into the topic at hand.
We want to get into the topic at hand.
Oh, okay.
Another day, perhaps we could go back to all the various kinds of video type programs, but suffice it to say, there is huge value in being connected to YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's the second greatest search engine there is. So that's enough.
Okay,
so
yeah, sorry, I know I did kind of get that going, so. But lots of good information. I took a lot of notes.
Nice going, Nancy.
A little ADD, but sometimes it can work in my favor. Not always.
So let's dive into our topic. I did sort of do a little bit of an intro. So does anyone in this group do any sort of tracking of what comes to their what are the results of what they're doing? And there are a number of places to do some tracking.
Yeah, I think it's really important to track your results, because you want to measure or gauge what is working and what isn't working, and you want to leverage what is working and reduce what isn't.
Of course.
So scale and leverage. The number one source, in my opinion, like based on our mind map that we built, you know, the easiest way to track this kind of information is Google Analytics.
Mm-hmm.
And because Google Analytics allows you to be able to track where your traffic is coming from on your site. So if you want, I can quickly show you where to access that kind of information on Google Analytics. So
that would be wonderful. I was in there last night and this morning. I have a bunch of questions.
It can be very overwhelming, you know. So let me just quickly go back to our mind map here, just to show. Oh, here we are. So back to the mind map. There we go. Okay. So here's our mind map that we built. So we have social media, email marketing, content on your site, content off your site, offline marketing, private groups, and forums. So the majority of those we're able to track, with perhaps the exception of offline marketing, unless you have a specific URL that you're using within your print material. But all of this we're able to track. So if we go into Google Analytics, so this is just the core main view of Google Analytics. So when you log in, this is what you first see. So, and this is basically what we call an audience overview. So this what we're looking at is actually not telling us where people are coming from, but how many people are coming from, or how many people are on our site or have visited our site within the last 30 days. Now, to be able to find out where people are coming from, we want to go to a place called acquisition, which is this thing on the left. So this menu here tells us is a great way to discover where people are coming from. So if you look at it like this, we got real-time, audience, acquisition, behavior, and conversions. Now, in most cases, most of this all makes sense. Real-time. So if we clicked on that, we would see who's on our site right now and what pages they're on, right? Okay. Audience, we learn about the people who are on our site. So how many, what country they're from, what page they're on. Acquisition tells us where they're coming from. Behavior tells us what they're doing on our site. Conversions is something that you'd have to set up as a secondary thing. But conversions tell us if they converted. And then you can reverse engineer the conversion ratio. So you can see where people are coming from and if they're converting. So what we want to do is we want to go to acquisition, because we want to see where we acquire our traffic. So I'm going to go acquisition and then overview. So what this is telling us is we're looking at the top channel. So a channel is considered a source, right? So for example, we have in this particular case, on this particular website, we have organic search, meaning people are coming in from Google. Direct, meaning people are actually just typing in your website address. Now, direct would also be considered, could be considered offline marketing. Because if you have someone who's typing in their your website address and you've created a specific URL, like you know, laolan.com/hello. This would be here, right? The direct. Referral would be a link from another website. And social would be from social media. Now, there would be, let me go back here. So we would also have other sources as well, right? So, but in most cases, this is where your sources are coming from. So now the cool thing is that you can kind of go down and you can click each one, and you can see what pages they're landing on, what keywords there are. But at the very least, if you go to acquisition overview, you can get a sense as to where people are coming from. So in this particular case, for this website, the majority of the traffic is coming from organic search. Now we can break it down a little bit more if we wanted to. We can go to all traffic and then referrals, right? And we can see where specifically people are coming from on a website. So for example, we've got, a variety of different websites that people are linking to, or I'm sorry, linking from within their own websites. If we go to all traffic channels, we can then break it down to see, specifically if I go direct. So I could see that people are directly clicking on certain website or certain URLs. Okay. So, I mean, you don't really need to dig this deep as to what I'm showing you. If you just go to acquisition overview, you can then see what's working. So in this particular case, organic search is the clear winner here. Okay. So that's just one source and this source is probably the most reputable and the most cost effective, i.e. it's free.
Right.
So, I mean, but then if you were to break it down, so for example, if we went to email marketing and we wanted to see, let's say our conversion is email marketing. Let's say we're trying to get more people to sign up to our newsletter. So, again, you can use Google Analytics. Okay, and if I go to referral and we look at Aweber, so we can see that Aweber is a referral.
Right.
Okay, but I like to, the great thing about Aweber and the tools that you use for email marketing really have their own proprietary stats. So this particular tool that I'm showing is called Sumo Me, or that's actually called Sumo now. And I'm doing a test of two different types of headlines, learn and steal. And so I can see, this is what's called a split test. So it's one email form, okay, and it's randomly showing each one. And then I'm determining, so I can see a conversion is someone who's opted into the email list. So I can see the conversion rate. I can see how many conversions versus how many views. I can see the improvements. And if I want to kind of make some changes of the percentage of traffic, meaning like show this one more often, I can make that change right here. Okay. So this is in essence, if you're doing list building, if you're doing email marketing or building a list, this is a great source for your traffic. Okay. Now I can just go and look at all sorts of stats. So I can look here. So within this, let's see, last month here, we can go take a look. So within the last month, 134 emails collected out of 10,840 views with an average conversion of 1.5. So, that's pretty industry standard. So I personally want to try to get that better, but I can then break it down to see which one is converting quite well. So for example, W review bottom CTR bar. So I can see, within the last month, 9 people clicked on this particular button that I'm showing. Let's see, 17 here. So anyways, you could dive down and go as deep as you want. But the point that I'm making here with this email marketing part is that, this is the next level beyond Google Analytics, right? So this is this one is a paid one, right? But to start off with, use Google Analytics, go to acquisition overview, and then you can get some really great information, some core information about your acquisition, okay?
So, is there anybody else in the group that is using Google Analytics?
If you have a website, you should be using Google Analytics because it's a great metric. It's a great tool.
I use it on my YouTube channel and on my website.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great information, and it gives you sometimes information that you don't really expect. When I originally started my website, it told me that my average viewing age was 45 to 55, and another percentage above that, which I expected, and that was the audience I was looking to attract, was people that are looking to retire. But I'm noticing over the last 6 to 8 months that as mobile is becoming more and more usable, or more and more used, that my average ages are starting to drop. And so it's good to be able to track those kind of changes and respond to them, as well as, just like Jay said, see what works and what doesn't work. Sometimes you'd be surprised that you put up I put up a video about flooding in Belize after Hurricane Earl, and it got 2,500 views overnight. Now, that was something that I didn't expect would do near as well as my procedural videos on how to open a bank account or how to get residency or that kind of thing. So it's really interesting and sometimes really surprising to track these things.
Well, it sounds like the younger audience are believers of the unbelievable truth.
Yeah, right.
You're just a hip guy, Bill. But that's great. That's actually really cool to see that how you're able to track and measure your audience age and what technology they're using, because you can then and this is what I do, is you can then adapt to that environment. You can scale and leverage, so.
And what I found was in the beginning, I mean, I do everything on a laptop. So sometimes, and I don't even own a smartphone. So sometimes I kind of forget about the mobile, the mobile first, not necessarily mobile only.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to, in the beginning of time, beginning of my website, 80% of my views were coming from laptops and larger screen devices. Now there's a high percentage where people are initially finding my website with a mobile search on a phone. Now they may be going and watching the videos on a computer later, but that initial search is happening a lot more on mobile devices.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to admit, I watch lots of little videos on my mobile devices. It's handy.
Yeah, I think mobile devices are great. I don't think they convert very well, so whatever the conversion is. So whether you want them to, whatever you want them to do, whether it be buy, fill out a form, click something, they don't really convert. They're just more passive traffic, right? So just passive viewers and whatnot, which is fine, because maybe eventually they'll convert, they'll remember, they'll subscribe to your channel. Go back
and dive in a little deeper from
something. Yeah. And I think the way you do that is build lots of great content, right? Or whatever medium you end up using, whether it be video, audio, written content, just build that out, build it often.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
Yeah, I think Alana had something.
I was just going to ask her, Alana, did you are you using analytics or webmaster tools or any of those?
Yeah, I'm using both, and I find Google Analytics to be a little cumbersome, and maybe it's because I'm not using it correctly. And I was going to ask Jay to maybe, if there is a way to do this, and I'm not sure there is, when I go into the user, it goes into acquisition, and I think it goes into user, and then it splits it out on which page they hit first, and then second, and then third. And so the information I would want is, I want to know if I publish a page and I have a couple of links on it, be it internal or external, I want to know if they get, first of all, how they get to that page to begin with. Is it from a search, or is it from a backlink or something like that? Secondly, I want to know, once they've been on the page, do they click on one of my links? And I don't know if that's a Pretty Link plugin issue that I need to kind of marry together, or if there's a way to do that in analytics. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it's a Pretty Link, you can gather the stats within the Pretty Link itself.
Yeah.
Now, and this is also assuming that you have like Pretty Link as a 302 or 301. Like, I mean, we're getting a little technical here, but
yeah, I was going to stop you and ask you to say what Pretty Link is.
Yeah, so Pretty Link is a plugin that you can use on a WordPress site that allows you to put an external link or an affiliate link that goes away from your site to whatever the destination is, but it does a couple things. It cloaks it, meaning you don't see the raw affiliate link. It actually creates what's called a redirect. So it creates like your domain name.com / and then you can customize the URL, which then if someone clicks on that, it tells Pretty Link to make people go to the other website. Mm-hmm. So it's from an SEO perspective, it's a nice way to redirect people to external websites without losing traffic or losing Google juice, if you will. Yeah. So I mean, we can get into that. I think we could perhaps next week or whatever, we can do a whole Google Analytics talk. But what you'd want to be looking at, Alana, is something called secondary dimension. And it's actually a little, I can quickly show you what secondary dimension is, or at least you can play around with it. So you can see.
I suspect that I'm not using Google Analytics properly. I suspect that I'm not looking in the right place.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to quickly go to behavior, site content, all pages. So I'm looking here, and so these are my top pages for the month. Now there's something right here. It says primary dimension page. Oh. And then I have something here called secondary dimension. And then I can go to acquisition, and then I can go acquisition source. So now it creates a second column right here, and I can see where people are coming from specifically when they land on the page.
Okay, excellent. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool. Yeah. So, and I could see the behavior, and so on and so forth. I can see, their exit page. So I go here. I can see whether they travel to a different site or they travel to, if they leave that page. I can see how often, they're like what day of the week and so on and so forth. So this secondary dimension feature is absolutely fantastic, right? I can see destination page, I can, and so on and so forth. So, but at the very core, you want acquisition, source.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Jay.
You're welcome.
Right
Your bill's in the mail.
So is my check.
Yeah.
A good retort.
Yeah. I've always liked Super Bowls, so yeah.
You forgot about PayPal. You can do it automatically.
Hey, don't give them any ideas.
Yeah.
Well, it's all technology. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail,
I see that Tim is saying that he tracks through Google Analytics and YouTube tracking. I was thank you for raising that, Tim, because I was about to ask if anybody is doing any tracking through their YouTube, because there's quite a bit of there's some good analytics in there as well.
I was doing some tracking through it, but I recently upgraded to Windows 10 and lost some of my tools. But the one that I was using is called vidIQ. And it will track your YouTube videos, and it will give you some really interesting analytics on it too.
Is that free?
Like I said, yeah, it's free. There's a paid version of it as well, but you can get a lot of good stuff from it for free. But like I said, I lost it when I upgraded to Windows 10.
There's another one that it works like an extension.
TubeBuddy, right?
Pardon me?
TubeBuddy, is that what you're about to?
TubeBuddy,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. TubeBuddy gives you all the analytics that you want from YouTube as well. And I was going to also mention that there are ways to track your activity in Facebook. So Insight, yes. So there are places. I mean, I think in terms of YouTube and Facebook and all of those things, those are tracking what results you're getting within that particular platform. And what we've been talking about up till now is tracking what goes on in your own website, which is what we were all about to begin with here, trying to determine and to promote the idea that wherever we are out there on the net, the purpose is to funnel people back to our website.
Yeah, I've got a tool for you guys. Something that came up a little while ago. If you've got cPanel for your hosting, geez, I wonder if I can actually show you, but there's a section in it called AW Stats. And if you go into it, you can look at some really detailed tracking to do with your different sites, like WordPress and so on. And a while ago, I remember looking at it because I was getting extraordinary traffic for something, and I didn't know why. But when I went into AW Stats, I discovered that the traffic was constant all the way through every single one of my pages, hardly any variation. And it had to do, the traffic was coming as a result of using social oomph, which is a way of automating Twitter tweets and announcements, and that's where it was coming from. But it was just remarkably consistent. And AW Stats showed me all the details. And if you guys haven't played with it, it's a really useful tool. I was very surprised by what I could find in there.
So cPanel would be a part of your hosting, would it not?
It should be, yes.
Yeah, there's two types. There's AW Stats, and then there's Webalizer inside cPanel. So it's your hosting control panel, assuming that your hosting control panel, assuming you have a hosting control panel. In many cases as well, they're like for example, if you host with Bluehost, Bluehost puts a skin over top of cPanel, which makes it supposedly easier to navigate. So yeah, AW Stats comes standard with any kind of what's called Apache server hosting that has cPanel attached to it. And but yeah, I like it. I look at it once in a while. I think it's a great tool. The majority of the data I can typically find inside of Google Analytics, but it's actually a great source if you don't have Google Analytics set up, or if you're confused by Google Analytics. Using AW Stats or Webalizer allows you to take a look at that without the use of Google Analytics.
Yeah, in answer to Alana's question on the side, WA.
No.
What is a wealthy affiliate? Okay.
Yeah, so because
sorry, I didn't know what that meant.
Because WA Wealthy Affiliate is managed WordPress hosting, it doesn't use cPanel, and there's a very valid reason, and that's to prevent people from getting confused and lost within cPanel, because cPanel in itself can be a very confusing and overwhelming type of scenario. So because people will push buttons and break their sites. It's like, oh, what does this do? Oh, I've just reduced the PHP version to 1. So so there's and many managed WordPress hosting companies will kind of eradicate a lot of the tools that come inside of cPanel. So if you're a geek like myself, then I think cPanel is totally fine. But if you just if you have that same kind of Apple or Mac mentality where you want to keep things simple, then using like Wealthy Affiliates managed WordPress hosting is ideal.
Yeah, when I saw the WA, I was thinking Washington. I had no idea she meant Wealthy Affiliate. Well, it's the same, letters,
Yeah, well,
Washington,
pretty
right?
soon Washington will have to change their abbreviation. So,
you think, hey?
Jay, do you have any idea how many members there are in Wealthy Affiliate right now?
Well over 100,000.
Yeah. Very successful Victoria company.
Yeah. And I mean, just to pick up off that, very humble people too, the two guys. So they're not the typical internet millionaires that roll around in Ferraris and Lambos and flaunt that around. They're very humble, grassroots, and they really do focus on building the core metrics of the service that's available within WA. So.
Yeah, for what it's worth, with some of these people who do the flaunting, and this is something I only heard about recently, is that some of the so-called scenes of the wealth don't actually exist, and that you're looking at a green screen in the background.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I thought, ooh, that's interesting. I wonder who's pulling that stunt. And
So Nathan, I'm sure you know who Frank Kern is.
All too well, yes.
So there was a time when he he did a product launch couple years ago, and one of the things was in the product launch video was him driving a Ferrari, and he's like, he's doing his talk, and then you could see the key, but hanging on the key was the rental tag. So it was great, and there's lots of other kind of smaller level people that do where they'll get testimonials from people, but then you can go to Fiverr and see the same actor that does these testimonials, so they basically bought video testimonials on Fiverr. Anyways, so but I digress.
The thing with Frank, though, is that he actually did own a Ferrari at one point, but what he did say in another video is that he said, it was a lot of money and it really wasn't a very good car. And there was and I watched the video about it, and I'm not going to repeat what he said, but there was this one thing, like he wanted to turn it in, and the salesman's going like, why would you want to turn this in? And he said something which I'm not going to repeat, but he actually said it in front of a live audience. And when I heard that, I nearly fell off my chair laughing. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I remember that video.
You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, it was very funny.
Right.
But
I think we've kind of gotten off topic.
That's
and
okay. We do it
our
every now
call
and then.
just disappeared on us, top of the hour. And many of us do have other things that we need to do. So I think that unless somebody has something concrete or something related to our topic, that in terms of the value of tracing and tracking what they're doing, I think it's probably time for us to close for the day.
Yeah.
And Bill,
Roland has it.
Roland wants to say something, and I wanted to throw something out as well. But
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Alana.
No, I was just going to mention that I've also heard of a plugin called Stats, and I have used it on occasion. I activate it, I deactivate it, but I just don't know how accurate that would be. And I'm wondering if I should just keep it simple, like you were saying, Jay, and just stick with Google Analytics, or if the Stats plugin is, worth keeping around.
Well, I mean, plugins are fine and dandy, but keep in mind that every time you install a plugin, you're consuming web hosting resources, meaning it's going to make your site slower because it's pulling data, it's doing things. As every time someone visits a site, your page, that plugin is working like 10 to 20 times. So if you have 10 people visiting your site at once from all over the world, then that means it's working 100 to 200 times on that single page. So the more plugins you have, the more your site has to work, thus making your site actually slower. So personally, I think the use of plugins to collect stats will dramatically slow your site down. And for those of you who don't know, if you have a slow site, that actually affects your rank in Google, because Google doesn't want to send people to slow websites. Yeah, I mean, like, for example, Jetpack has which is a plugin provided by the developers of WordPress. They have kind of internal stats software inside that plugin. And that's fine, but I think using Google Analytics is totally fine, in terms of, I just showed you how you can easily look at, your core metrics. And it's very important not to end up with analysis paralysis and really dig in too deep and constantly looking at stats versus actually working on building your stats, So it's and I see this all the time inside Wealthy Affiliate, when people are asking me questions like, oh, I just wrote an article last week, how come I don't have any traffic? Well, it's because you're sitting here looking at your site, watching the water boil. So
on the I might say, on the other hand, though, Jay, and this is from my own experience, I find that if I don't go in and play around in Google Analytics periodically, I kind of forget how it works. And then, you take yourself through that stupid learning curve every time you go. So, I mean, you got to spend a bit of time in there so that you really know how to make use of it
absolutely.
adequately.
I think once a week is ideal, kind of going in and taking a look. Yeah, absolutely. So, to summarize, Google Analytics, I think, is a great tool to learn about the behavior of your traffic, of the people visiting your site. And then if you're using specific tools to drive traffic to your site, the specific tools will usually have metrics. So if you're using Facebook will have metrics to see how they're, behaving and going to your site and so on. So cross-analyzing both of those, I think, is just all you really need, to get started. And then as you develop your business, you can then kind of get into more elaborate stats and whatnot. So like how I showed the Sumo tool, so, but.
Okay.
So I handed the conch to Alana, and I never saw it again. So I thought I'd just cut it.
I was just about to call on you. I forget.
Sorry, Roland.
Yeah, I'll go stand in the corner now.
It's not your fault at all. But it's good because the conversation here is generated from the interest of what's going on, and it's all relevant and pertinent. But me, I always bring it back to the content generation and what we do. As far as our product or service. And the talking about Frank Kern reminded me of the other YouTube ad that I see all the time now, and that is Steve Martin and his advertisement for Masterclass, which I really like. I really like the concept. And what he says is he gets into his class and people start asking, how do I get an agent, or where do I get my my mugshot done, my one-shot headshot? And his response to that is, shouldn't you be thinking about how do I be good? So when we're talking about metrics and stuff, we're all analyzing and assuming that our product and service is worthy of being on page 1 of Google or selling properly for the price. And that's really the starting point. So I wouldn't want people to get wrapped up in the metrics before they really know what they're selling and promoting. And that's the focus that's most important. And if it's worth something, the rest of it will be legitimate and fall in place. Then the metrics really matter.
Well, I still think it's a good idea, though, when we're trying a variety of things, to be able to go and look, so that a variety of approaches, then it's a good idea to check and see which approach is having the desired effect, so you can do more.
You must be doing all. You must be doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Well, it brings me back to what is taught at Wealthy Affiliate. It's this whole rinse and repeat thing where you figure out what works well. And in order to do that, you need to look at your stats and be aware of what's working and what's not. So it's once you figure out what works well, then you rinse and repeat. So that's, I think we're all kind of, working our way through that.
Yeah.
Alana, you're the best example of the progressive concept of focusing on what it is that we are and what we do, because you were wondering, what do I write about? What's my subject of my blog and so forth? And then you had a conversation with Jay, and he focused you on a concept and a micro concept that really has become your main push. And then that is the whole concept there of narrowing down your research, narrowing down your output, so it's really focused on the subject. And I think that you're the best example here.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
And that's why I think I love these hangouts, is to be able to basically brainstorm with each other and help each other out.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
we certainly are all learning from each other, aren't we?
Yeah, I really enjoy that too.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time for me to white box Bill and for us to close our session for today and say to everyone, we'll see you again next time.
Thank you very much.
Don't leave yet. We're just stopping the broadcast.
Quick question. What are we talking about next week?
Well, we'll cover that shortly.
Okay.
We still haven't stopped the broadcast. Roland, music.
And unmute yourself.
Thank you.
So thanks all for joining me, and see you next week.